This is huge for so many reasons.
First page of this is dedicated to my mum. This has to be about substance. We were in tears going through it.
Now, you are an author. He was cutting the crap before it was a brand.
Cut the crap, the good, the bad, and the fucking ugly. And you can't give 100% to 5 or 6 things from that position, which is you put everything, build it into 60M company, whatever, whatnot, and it fucking fails. I've been working in the shadows for years. I leave a better person.
Do you think the industry we came up in played a big part in the creation of our ego?
A lot of people, not everybody, typically come online with a agenda to make money.
Having a day off used to be scary for me. Yeah. Lunch is for wimps.
It's meant that I've not been the greatest of fathers.
Young black guys around me that we're talking about being fathers, bro.
Any style of self-development is done by either white men, but more importantly, middle-aged white women that haven't gone through our struggles. If you're earning 10 bags and spending 10 bags, you're the same as somebody who's earning a bag and spending a bag. No different. Saving is a scared man's mentality.
My guy bought me the, what's this one off?
It's called Tao, Soul of a Lion.
As you know, at Shishio, we don't serve alcohol, as you can tell.
Oh gosh, that's funny, man. She's struggling.
Thank you, my brother.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Internet probably doesn't know that I'm a red wine boy at heart, my bro. Cheers, man. Cheers. All right, man. Yo, my people, them! It's your boy Trist Taylor. I'm back with another episode of the Brand Therapy Show where we talk about businesses, brands, and experiences in a therapeutic conversation. I know you guys been rinsing me for the long intros, but I care about these people on my shows. So let me talk my shit, yeah? Next to me, you see a brother of mine. Someone I would say was a mentor of mine. Someone I've learned a lot from. A friend, a brother, someone who's inspirational to many. Taught many, many things, myself personally, and probably a lot of you watching this. My brother, Alphie, AKA being Alphie, my bro.
How you doing, man?
Listen, man, I love when my friends come. Like this one's gonna be a little bit more casual, a bit more comfortable. As you guys know, if you follow me online, this is a brother of mine. We've done a lot online so far. Ironically, it was the first episode we done. The first episode of this was with Alpha. If you haven't seen it, go check it out now. But how are you, bro, man? We're in Dubai, man. We've come a long way from the one camera and the iPhone, man. How are you, bro?
And the lack of tools.
I know. How are you, man?
I'm good. Very, very good. Very good.
How's this trip? I want to start off with what's brought you to Dubai. I think that would be a good,
very,
good
very
place
different
to start.
reason. Yeah. Because normally Dubai, family or partying or whatever, and I just wanted to come somewhere and be by myself, and really just learn again myself, shall I say, introspect. So I actually went to the desert.
Yeah.
I went to the desert and stayed in this kind of like glamping tent where there was not a soul, and it was beautiful. Yeah. It was proper beautiful. And I ended up climbing a mountain, watching the sunrise.
Sick.
And then just meditating for an hour and listening to my thoughts for an hour.
Yeah.
Which again is it's an interesting place to be at when you just listen to what's going on, the challenges, the negativity, the positivity, the internal battle and fight. I really enjoy. So yeah, that was nice. I'm just doing a lot of reflection, but then obviously if I'm in Dubai, I have to come and buck you, see a couple of other people. So yeah, that's something you do a lot. Like you're big on solo trips. Like I want to go into that a bit further because it's funny you say this. I think I said it to you yesterday. Like my mum's really on me right now for my health, and she's like, listen, like on this get back you're going through, make sure you don't burn yourself out again, and spend a lot more time silencing the mind. And I said to you yesterday, like you kind of inspired me with what you did, and I went and did a little spa day, and I realized that creatively, nothing comes to me like silencing my mind. Even for example, when I was sitting down here before you came, like just no noise, like not scrolling, sitting there, which is how I thought of the things that made me message Ali, and then we ended up going in some big, but that came because my mind was silenced. Like, what's the importance of that for you? Massive, because there's so much distraction. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that by being around people, you're being infected by them in some way, shape or form. A lot of people think like the disease that you can get off body is bad, and of course there is challenges there, but the disease of mind will literally fuck you and put you on your ass, right? Yeah. And where do you get the disease of mind? By being around people and listening to what they say and their opinions. And I think that in life, there's too many people that don't challenge what they hear. And as soon as you don't challenge it, the brain accepts it as a potential. Do you understand? So I think by being alone, at least you're having a conversation with yourself. And then you can really, because you're hearing your voice, challenge what you're hearing. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's a massive thing. I go away every single month.
Every month?
Every month I go away. Every month I go away, and I've been doing that for years now. But I typically will do 3 to 6 independent lone wolf, Alphie, alpha male on his own trips.
Yeah. I want you to elaborate on the characters. On the Alphie, Alpha, and I want you to, like, to be honest, this wasn't even in my thoughts of convo, but we always knew we're just gonna flow. Like, let's talk about that, because there's characters, and anyone who follows you, if they don't follow you, obviously now's the time to. But let's elaborate on that. What were those characters? What are those characters?
Well, Alphie's me, but what there is also Alfred. And I just believe in speaking to your future self. I believe in making decisions from your future self's point of view, because you're gonna get there, right? If you're planning, you are going to get there, right? If you're planning to be alive, right, you're going to get there 10, 15, 20 years old. And the way I've kind of made it, it's almost like an avatar in my mind of this 20-year-older version who has achieved everything in life that I'm currently wanting to achieve. And from that position, I have conversations. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can bounce into the future and bounce back and make decisions. And don't get me wrong, it's a challenge. You don't always do what Alfred tells you to do, right? Yeah. However, whenever I do that, there's just like this unison and connection. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you're doing the right thing for you. Because otherwise, if you're in the present, what are you susceptible to? A lot of opinions, a lot of comparison and seeing what other people are doing and making decisions based upon that. Whereas if it's your future self that's already got there and has achieved everything you wanted, be it the wealth, the family, everything, then it's kind of like I'm comparing myself to that person and using that person to instruct me.
This is an interesting point. I'm going to challenge your thinking here. Yeah?
Tell me.
And it's weird because I just to set the tone as well, I opened, and I never do this, but today, just for anyone who maybe seeing us together for the first time, we've been friends for years. We know how each other think. We talk regularly. So this isn't so much for me today. This is for people. Yeah. So I let my in-housers, my members club, to ask a few questions, and one of them was on this point, and they asked, does he live in the now? Now, something that shifted for me in the last few years is I live a lot more in the now than I used to. Still vision, still goals, still plans, but I used to live way more, especially sales days, way more in the future. Do you think there's a harm there in the sense of, like you said, it's almost like speaking to the future? Can that rob you of something, in your opinion?
Yeah, of course it can. And just to labour my point and make sure that it's completely elucidated and clear, right? What I mean is, that's for planning. As soon as I am taking action, I have to become very, very present and very, very aware. Because otherwise you will miss left, right and centre. I believe now is the only time that actually exists. When I get to Alfred, I'll be living in the now.
Yes.
But for planning, it's good to have a persona, something to hold you. Because as I said, and I'll keep labouring this point, if you don't have that, it will be your surroundings that hold you.
Yeah.
And when the surroundings are all good and it's all working well, great. When the surroundings aren't, what happens? Massive decline. You don't know. That's when I see people get desperate, latching onto every idea, everything that comes, because they haven't got their own defined, this is my identity of where I want to go. This is how that person will think, which people think is, because I'm just going to tell you what the question is. How do you do that? Look at the journey of the people that are already there. Then I learned this. You are the sum of 5 people that you want to be, that you are around, right? So put together 5 people that you want to be and understand them intrinsically. Like me was intrinsically. I love the way Tyson spoke. He's a ferociousness. I love Jim Rohn. His one-liners, how he just shut people down and also entertain people. I love Conor McGregor. All these people are big sort of characters when it comes to, I love Tony Robbins, just because he spoke with a certain amount of passion and energy in his voice. Do you understand?
100%.
And you start to get these characters, but it's like, what do I like about them? Then I pen out, what do I like about these people? Then I go deep into their content, read their books, read their autobiographies, watch their podcasts, watch their interviews, really get it. So I can literally say to myself, what would this person do? And from that, I make my own character. And that has all the wealth, all the family, all everything that I could ever wish for. But now, rather than me relying on these people that I can't physically, can't a weasel word, but I'm not able to physically touch and speak to right now, I've made my own person. It's a
Yeah.
coalesced version. And I speak to that person, Alfred.
I'm gonna try and not do too many wheel-ups today, because one thing I've realized with YouTube, if you haven't seen the previous episode, go and watch it. So we're not gonna go over too much of stuff. But you said something in there. You said about not having a firm identity and latching onto everything. Now I remember when you said that to me, yeah, as a friend, as a big bro. You said to me like, bro, you know, you knew I have it in me, but right now you're doing everything, bro. Like you're gonna do nothing effectively, yeah. And it went in one ear, went out the other because I weren't in the space to digest that, yeah. Now, and obviously to bring people.
I remember this conversation like it was yesterday.
I think I remember every convo we have because it's always impactful.
Thank you.
And since then, obviously a lot's changed in your life, a lot's changed in my life. Like I've documented it, I've been transparent. I went through a lot of losses. I got to rock bottom mentally, financially. Ironically, I ended up going through a lot of stuff you went through prior. And it's interesting because I was able to, I didn't actually revert back to any of your content whilst going through it because I was so going through it. And then I came back, I did the CEO cast, I did the cutting the crap, and then I started talking. And one day I sat there and I was going back through our old episode, and then I saw your old episode of Chucky, and I watched it again and I thought, this is mad. He was cutting the crap before it was a brand. Like you, because remember, the reason why they've all kind of championed me now, why my brand started rebuilding very well, and I'm grateful for it, is because I've come and told them the truth. Told them the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and the harsh realities, the losses, the loneliness, the how they treat you, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like how horrible it feels, and the friends you lose, and just the real grittiness of it. And even though we touched on it a bit before, I couldn't relate like I can now. And obviously yesterday we went to dinner and I said, like, I learned so much through this period, yeah? And on the blessing side of it, and I know you can relate to this, is it shows us what we're really built for. Because we're back here now, we're having this conversation, like life's back on the rise, we're grateful, but we've definitely been through it, yeah? So I want to touch on that because a lot of people go through that whole, my identity's not firm. And what was happening for me, bro, was, is it, yeah? Oh yeah, that might work. Oh no, that might work. I need something to work. No, that's a sick idea. Everything was a sick idea. It all sounds like a great idea until, ironically, going back to what you said, was I silenced the mind, allowed myself to detach from everything. We spoke about the watches yesterday. Detach from everything and realized, you know what? The only way for me to build back up is the formula we know, which is our trusted formula that's worked for us for 10, 15, maybe longer for yourself, years, yeah? So, first, I want to give you hats off for that because you're the original crap cutter.
Thank
yeah,
you.
And if anyone hasn't seen that episode with Chucky, you went on there and touched on it in depth. I don't want to go too much into that, but what I do want to do, I want to speak about how you bounced back from that. Not so much what happened, like summary, you was making a lot of money a year. I'll let you talk it, but let's summarize it and then how you bounced back from it.
I think there's one thing that you have to say, and I've got to circle back to. That's the entrepreneur nonsense. Because you understand that now, yeah? Because it was true. I saw your energy. I saw what you were able to do with in short bursts. But then I looked from a bird's eye view, being that person, right? And I looked and I was like, this man's got like 5 or 6 things going on.
Yeah.
And you can't give 100% to 5 or 6 things from that position. Don't get me wrong. You can grow into a business owner that literally passes on, right? And tells people what to do.
Facts.
And manages from a higher level.
Facts.
Yes, but when you're feet on the ground, bootstrapping, I don't believe that is possible.
Yeah, agreed.
You put 20% into less because there's so many factors. The downtime switching between each thing, focus, the energy, the money. There's so many factors. And I looked at it and I thought, for somebody who's that talented, which you are,
thank you,
it is fear. It is fear because committing to one, you have to go through what I went through, which is you put everything, build it into 60M company, whatever, whatnot, and it fucking fails. Especially when it's not your actual, I'll take responsibility, fault. Because it wasn't down to your doing why it crashed, right? Then you have to go again. But because you do that and you throw everything into it, you actually get to learn what you're very good at, what you like, loads of things about you that you just wouldn't if you are throwing your energy into 5, 6 different things in the startup and embryonic stage, which you were in. So I had to say it to you, and lo and behold, you went up like I did, had a bit, partied a bit, did whatever, crashed, dark days, and then you were able to find something which, because you have the bounce back ability, you were able to find something which you are now building into what's going to be a monster. And a lot of people, I see Flomsy saying the other day, it's going to be a monster. You can kind of feel when somebody's onto a monster, a unicornish idea. So you can feel that. But my bounce back was very, 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 very challenging. It's dark, right? Because then at that moment you realise who actually gives a fuck. And it's very few people. You know what I mean? Everybody's there for when it's Alphie, and everybody's there when it's Alphie and it's fun time. But when you're on your arse and you're able to provide the same experiences, people again lost, not knowing who they are, they do this, scatter like rats, like DWE said. Right? So that happened, and I guess the way that I sort of picked myself back up was by going back to what I normally do. Yes, flies. Yeah. The way that I come back up was by going back to what I normally do, which is military style reading, preparation, and fucking with my mind again. That's it. Yeah. It's the only way I know to start again.
You know those cringy parts of the YouTube videos where they stop right in the middle and they start to sell you something? This is that part. If you're building a business or building a brand and you want to understand how to make that profitable or learn how to make money from sales, drop me a message, we can work together and I'll help you smash that goal. I said on that episode, I never lost the money, I lost my mindset. The money is nothing, as you know. Like, it's just whatever. It's a piece of paper, it's a transfer of energy. It comes, it's never lost, it's always one person to another, yeah? But what really was for me was the mindset, principles, the routine, the discipline, the reading, the waking up at a certain time, the visionary. That's what I feel I lost within that period. But yeah, like I said, bounce back ability, and we're here now. So cool. Obviously, you bounced back through that. For those who aren't aware, do you want to just elaborate a bit more about what it is you do now, so they understand? Because a lot of your gems have been heavily into financial literacy and investment, which I like, by the way. You've been dropping a lot on that, not just mindset anymore. So yeah, talk a bit more about what it is you do.
So, I mean, I guess I have a company, right? I have a company, we sell luxury assets, anything from whiskey casks to art, timepieces, quite a few things, right? That we're sort of stepping, and we're building that.
And when I talk about watches, just for anyone watching as well, I like to focus, and you know this because it's what we come from, is the story, the mechanism, like what it stands for, not just, oh, look at me, it's the actual mechanism, and that is a beautiful mechanism timepiece. But yes, sorry, bro. So, what you sell? Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, and then apart from that, I've invested into restaurants, and apart from that, I'm just an investor. But I've become an investor, understanding that there are more than one way to skin a cat. Like, you can go and build businesses and take massive risks, which I believe anybody who's got that within their heart should go and do. But what I also like to share, not teach, share, is that if you're not that person, because very few people are really in their hearts, yeah, then there is a way you can go and get it still by just being disciplined and allowing for time. And I like that because that brings more people into the fold. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, don't get me wrong. I believe that in life, in capitalism, I believe there's elitist societies as well. I do believe in these things, right? But I also believe that if you give more people the tools and explain it in a simple fashion, then more people will be in a better position long term. Yeah. And it goes back to what I said about Alfred. You're going to get there anyway. So why not put these things in place? So a lot of the content I'm doing is not only about mindset. I read so often, I don't know, at least 50, 60 books a year. My breakout year, you know, I did 80. I do 50, 60 books a year. I love reading with a passion.
Why is that? Why is it? Why do you love it?
Because I just know the value. Apart from the fact I've now wrote my first book.
We're going to get there. Oh, we're definitely going to get there. But why is that? What's the value of reading for you?
I just know that if you're anything like me and you are genuine and honest, you have gone and it's become empirical. You're not just writing a load of fucking waffle, right? You've gone and made these experiences, you've understood certain things, and then you've done your best to put that into words and put it into words that is easily digestible, but digestible within a reasonable time frame. Yeah. And what I mean by that is you don't have to go through the 15 years of sales that I have, to be able to get that information if I write a sales book. You do not have to go through the 15 years of understanding, talking to my mind to build this resilience, to get it when you read my book, Who Stole Your Mind. You've got to go through, done it in 136 pages, and it's impact.
Do you know what, What's your view on when the younger generation say, but I need to experience it myself first?
I think there is some strong validity in that, because I think it's like seeing your brethren get boxed in the face. It's very different to getting boxed in your face yourself. So I think there's strong validity in that, but I think also that is relatively undisciplined. Because I think for the disciplined person, they can understand, they can go, that box in the cheek there, yeah, it's enough for me to know. I'm going to avoid that.
Yeah.
So I think for the undisciplined person, right, experience, becoming empirical is great. And I always say 9 times out of 10, experience is good. But I think for the rare ones that can take the lesson, right, and understand it and then apply what's necessary to avoid the mistake or run to the benefit, they're the people that just do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
See, I think there's so much value in that. Like, so for me now, I've got a writer man, he's 8 years younger than me, Cam, and I say to him a lot of the things that I've been through, and I want you to avoid these things, bro, because I've done it. Just avoid it. And at first, I mean, he's changing that mindset now, but at first it was like, yeah, but I need to feel that big, bro. I need to know what it's like to, what, you need to know what it's like to waste money or to lose money? Why do you need to feel that? I agree, I think you put it in the best way I've ever heard it put, which is the disciplined can understand that. And when I think about it, I think about a friend of mine who I grew up with, and he was very, very disciplined, monster, warrior, yeah? And he was always able to learn from other people's mistakes. And I think that's given him a massive advantage. We was business partners, right hand men, and I was always a trial and error. He would see, I ain't doing that. Like, he even learned a lot from you. I ain't doing that. And I think in hindsight, don't get me wrong, there's value on both sides, because my extensive amount of experience has definitely put me in an amazing position, which has allowed me to share knowledge that is extremely valuable for someone consuming, which is probably knowledge way more extensive than he has.
But this is it. For him, it'll be theory. So he can only ever talk theory. But that's probably good enough for him because it's got him to the position that he needs to be in.
Yes.
Whereas me and you, we can talk empirical. We've experienced it. And there's something that comes out of your voice and delivery when it's empirical.
You're just going everywhere I want to go. All right, we're going to come back to the book. I want to say on this point. See what you just said there? We had a conversation about the difference. Yeah. And this is not a look at me, we're hard. This is just analysing the space we're in. And I know for you, and I want to ask you as well, do you regard yourself as someone in this entrepreneurial space online?
It's a difficult one. It's a challenging one. I haven't really thought like that because, as you know, I said it, and it got a lot of love. Yeah. I've been working in the shadows for years, coming up 2 decades. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So this whole, I'm online.
How do you feel about it? Like,
I think it's necessary. I think I've been gifted. I've got a talent, so I think it's necessary, and I know my heart is pure, especially after what happened to my mum. And my motivation for doing it is pure. It's fucking beautiful, right? It really is in its essence. However, me personally, you won't see me at motives. You don't see me really. I like to just hang it by myself or with a very, very tight knit of people. Do you know what I mean? To be out and to serve people properly, make the distinction whereby it's kind of like I give you enough and then I wash my hands. I find it challenging because, as you know, if I put my energy into somebody, I'm seeing it fucking through, bro. Do you understand? Like, I feel like, and that's the reason why I don't do like the mentoring or anything of that nature, because I just know me as a person. Like, it'll be be successful or die trying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like that. I'm quite stoic in that. Yeah. Like, there is and a lot of my principles, a lot of people couldn't live with. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're extreme. Yeah. They're extreme. Yeah. They're extreme. And nowadays, everyone wants balance. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think I do too well with that. So
we're gonna touch on that as well. I don't want to lose this though. Yeah. The space, yeah. Obviously for me, you know me, like I am a proud member of the space. I think that it's needed. I think culturally, I was one of the friends of yours that was saying, bro, we need this, we need this, we need this.
Early.
Do you feel like what is it that what is it that's holding you back from saying, because look, like realistically, bro, for someone who's only seen you online, to them, you're an online guy.
Yeah.
They know you online. Yeah. I know that's uncomfortable to say, yes. I know it is, yeah. I know it is. I know you. But to someone who's seeing you, and even it took me a while to even accept that, and I've actually been online for years. I'm like, what internet guy? But
let me tell you something, just to jump in, because it's actually jokes. That's I shared it with Ali, right? Yeah. I was at Dizzy's concert, yeah.
Yeah.
So coming out the toilet, I was sick. Smashed it. Levels. Banger after banger after banger. bang after bang
Oh,
after bang.
bro, they would have. Oh, bro, I saw these doubles. But yeah, go on.
Oh my gosh. Oh, they're hard. And I come out the toilet. I was with my son. Come out the toilet, bro. Where do I know you from? You're the TikTok guy. And I don't know what happened to me. I was like, rah.
Yeah, I get
Do you know what I mean? I was like,
Happened to
rah.
me, yeah.
I was like, rah. Like,
The what guy?
The what?
Yeah.
Like, man, I run businesses, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
And it wasn't I took offense to it. It's just it was new to me. It's like somebody pointing out that color and you're thinking it's one thing and they're telling you, no, that's not black, that's obsidian blue. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, rah, like, where'd that come from?
100%.
So it was, I think to answer your question, I think it's just, is it a bit of imposter syndrome? Just being real.
I'll be honest with you, I don't like that phrase.
Is it a bit of
like
that?
it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But I do think it is real.
But is it a bit because it's new to me?
Yeah.
And also, I know that I have, in fact, I'm going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
I know that typically a lot of people, not everybody, typically come online with a agenda to make money.
Yeah.
They want to deliver.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not clean-hearted,
Yeah.
but they want to make money. I'm not in that position, bro. I wouldn't even know what to charge for my time in that regard compared to what I know my time's worth compared to what I earn. Right? So it doesn't make sense to me. So I almost don't want to fully commit because I think it's going to take me away from what I'm currently doing elsewhere.
But then let me ask you something. I'm being honest.
Yeah, please.
This could be awkward.
Yeah.
Do you see me as one of those guys?
As in, do I see you as somebody
Coming online to make money?
Yeah, to a degree, but not, I think now, because you fully committed to it, before I think you had different ways of making money. So I think that kind of held you at a step. But I think now, because you see what's happening, we're having conversations about influencers getting big fucking deals. I think now you're like, not only can I earn from it, but I can enjoy it and earn from it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think I'm not there.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm not there. Without going into numbers, I just don't think I'm there.
For me, what it was is I was always where you were for years.
Yeah.
Grow daily, never for money. All of this I never had an intention of making money of none of it. Even when we done this first podcast, I didn't even really understand how, to be honest. I just thought the Gary Vee method of spend 10 years building something huge and then get paid to speak at places. I never understood this monetizing on the way up. I got to the point of the downfall, the crash, and then I sat there and I thought, okay, cool. I either go back sales, go back businesses, or I utilize what I've built. And then I found a way, which I think is amazing, to merge them all, which was I can merge sales, merge businesses, and still enjoy this social aspect of being Trist, speaking online, giving value.
You're good at this. And what I mean by that is I think that even from yo, my people, them, Trist, do you know what I mean? Like, you've always been that internet personality.
Yeah.
I just have a way with words.
True.
From being an MC back in the day.
That's true.
And going through life.
That's true.
And picking up experiences. So I think you're made for that. Do you know what I mean? I feel it's just, I think it's adjusting. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're 100% with this. You're 100% with this, right?
I get that. Yeah, I'm 100%. Yeah.
There's nothing else really that you're
Obviously,
doing.
I've got the agency, but it all fits inside with this anyway, yeah.
Whereas my businesses and my whole investment,
Different.
it's different.
Totally
Do you know what I mean?
course,
So
100%.
just coalescing the two and putting them together.
I get that battle.
It's a bit of a challenge.
What do you how do you think you're gonna? I guess it's just you just continue doing what you're doing now, which is just give the gems but go back to work. Give the gems but go back to work.
To a degree.
Is there a plan?
Well, the plan is release the book.
Okay.
Release the book because I think then everyone gets a good
Bit of you.
bit of me.
Yeah.
A good bit of me that they can apply instantly
Yeah.
to get very good results when it comes to understanding your mind
Yeah.
and the weaknesses
Yeah.
that come through vernacular and vocab in your head.
Yes.
And I think that enough is powerful for a lot of people.
100%.
And I think through that, it's kind of like everything, innit? You test the waters a bit, you enjoy those waters, let me do more.
That could open more doors for you.
I think
100%.
so. I think so.
I think another thing as well, from the convos we've had, that puts you off, and definitely, I mean, I was lucky because I started before them, yeah? But now, there's a lot of successful, to be clear, entrepreneurs that are using the internet to be cool now. Rather than, for me, and something I would hope everyone knows about me, is it was always pure value exchange first, always. My thing, even from going back 2015, 16, walking home from work, all the old videos was always, I was never getting paid for that. I just had a good day in the office, shared it with you. Good day in the office, shared it with you. Noticed traits in my staff, shared it with you. Then it was just about give. I'm a big believer of the whole Nipsey Hussle effect of just leave the blueprint, bro. Give it to them. Let them learn from your mistakes. Now, I think because there is a big way to monetize, there is a lot of saturation in, oh, is it? If I sit and give gems, I could be lit. I've already got money, I'm already successful, but now let me go and get clout and popularity. And I see that, I've even got friends like that, bro, where it's like, bro, you're actually so successful. You do not even need the internet. However, it's such a thin line because where's the world going? For example, I've got a friend, prime example, who's very successful. I even say he's the owner of Shisha, yeah? Good friend of mine, Mohammed, he's on my last episode, and he has been successful before the internet. He does not need the internet for success. However, the space he's going into is very heavy tech, and it's gonna open, and it is opening massive doors. So it's like, when I see that, I'm like, I get it. You need to be, I get it now. Now, being online and dropping gems about your journey and what you've done makes so much sense. But I think there's another side, which I'd like to know your opinion on, should I say, where it's almost like, I just want to be cool. Yeah. I just want to be cool, and it doesn't come across genuine.
I think you can spot that from a mile away. We had this conversation when you come to London with me as well, and I think it's very, very rife. I think if you were always cool in your heart, and that's a subjective word, but you just felt that you were cool in your heart, you don't need that validation. You know me. You know what I've been about. Yeah,
the coolest.
So I like your message yesterday. So I've never needed that. I've not been somebody that's like, let me come online. So I think that, again, that's another battle, because I see that, and you can see it when you
don't want to get mixed in with them.
Correct.
It's almost like, what's that thing they say? If you look over at two fools arguing, you don't know which one's the fool.
Correct.
Something like that, innit?
Correct. A reverse version of that. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, like, you're entitled, if you've done well in your life, to want a bit of look at me people, celebrate me people. But I think there's better ways to do it than rather than I'm giving gems, I want to share my gems with you. And that's like, because when it comes down to it, if you're not really about
it's not really about giving the gems.
Correct.
Yes, agreed.
Correct. And do you know how you know that you can tell? Because I find that a lot of people come up with products that they don't genuinely care about the outcome with people.
Yes. 100%.
That's the easiest way. Bro, if I get into a voice note conversation with somebody on my DMs, I'm telling you, they leave a better person. And people will comment and vouch for that.
Yeah.
I will not stop until I know that person, a woman, 50-year-old woman who has been left some money in an inheritance, and she's just afraid to use it because of how it came. She's never had money. Mate, I was going back and forth with her for 45 minutes. Do you know what that would cost?
Nero told me yesterday it's 2 hours. Spoke to me today, he said we was going back and forth for 2 hours.
That's just how I am, bro. Yeah. That's how I am, bro. And I'm just like, I genuinely, there's been plenty of times I'm leaving, I'm sweating, brother. I'm leaving and I'm exhausted because I'm going into the deeper parts of my subconscious mind to find the information, find the actual experience and give that person. Do you know what I mean? Because I know if I don't do it like that, it'll just be like, meh.
Yeah.
Let me not do anything with it.
Yeah.
Because truth be told, that's kind of like how I did with the system. System, wicked, theatrics, music, intro, everything, and nature was bang. Cool lines, but not really.
It means too much for you to do it half-hearted.
Correct.
That's what it is.
Correct.
Yeah, it means too much for you. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna fucking do it.
Proper.
Yeah.
Proper. So I feel like I'm at the edge of the plank looking. Somebody's got a knife going, this looks good. This looks good. I know I can really help. But then, God rest my mum's soul.
Yeah.
I've just got this angel just going, thank you, man. Got this angel just going, you have to do it.
Talk about that. So is that what you feel? Is obviously with the passing of your mum, and God rest her soul, I got the blessing to meet her at your event. Amazing woman, amazing energy. Did that play a big part in this? Yeah, in regards to pivoting onto like, what's the attachment between your mum and the online stuff? Because there is one.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive, and no one's really ever asked me that. I'd say it's about 90% of the reason why I'm doing this. Because I've jumped on, jumped off, been terribly inconsistent. Yeah. Right? Wasn't on Instagram for a year.
Yeah.
Lost my password.
Who cares? Yeah.
No, okay, who cares? Then my mum passed away. And it it just shocked me, the finality of life and how fucking fickle it is and how things can just be forgotten. And I just remember my mum talking to me about the gifts that I have and how I'm able to lead people, and just certain things. And I looked at where she passed away with all she had done for the world. And I thought, I'm going to do it in her name. And that's it. Like, I feel like when I really think about what my mum was as a person, which is just a giver, retired her, she'd go to her church and just do this with all the dough. Just a real giver. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's something pure about doing that and really in your heart wanting better for people, especially people that was in the background that's the same as my mum, which is, struggling, raising children, just doing the best with the tools that you have. And the thing I love about it is my mum never complained. And I think there's a lot of people out there just fucking fighting, not complaining. There's a lot of people that fucking, there's loads of Albanians, all the blacks are here, they're taking all the jobs. They complain about do you know what I mean? They complain about absolutely everything.
Yeah, 100%.
But then there's a decent amount of people that just fucking crack on.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter what challenge. Heating bills, crack on.
Yeah.
Can't feed the crack on.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my mum. And
Same,
for those people, I have to fucking ride out. I have to show you
100%.
a certain way that you can still do better. And the better may not even be for you. The better may be so you have the fucking tools so you can educate the people that are coming up behind you.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
100%, bro.
And I think, when I think of that, if my mum never instilled that in me, and then instilled that belief in me, and that trait in me, where the fuck would I be?
I think I relate to that so much, bro.
So, yeah.
I think that's why I'm here. I feel like that's discipline, like 100%.
Yeah.
My mum's just been a teacher all her life. It's just about helping. That it feels like, I feel selfish. Like, I find it hard not being online. Like, before the monetizing, before all of this, anyone who's known me knows, the reason I've got all the throwbacks is because I was documenting before it made sense to 100 followers I was documenting. Because I just knew, and I just thought that this journey, like, one of my most impactful quotes is Tupac when he says that, I'm not saying I can change the world, but I can impact a brain that will. And I genuinely believe that leaving this earth, if it's not me directly, someone, because of me, is going to change the world.
I believe I'm Morpheus. I've said it for years.
Yeah.
For years. I remember I was so in the character again that I used to walk like him.
You used to have the coats. I remember.
Yeah, I believe, and I think it's because of the experiences that I've had and the fact that I'm not afraid to be vulnerable and tell people, exactly as you said, cut the crap, the good, the bad, and the fucking ugly about the experience. Whereas a lot of people, especially people in my position, my sort of, call it my style, whatever, whatnot, they want everything to seem as if everything's good. And bro, I've broken down plenty of times.
Touching on that, for me to have spoke on that CEO cast, it took a rock bottom, it took a removing of the ego. And one of the main things I went through when I was going through that was realizing that I built a lot of things off my ego. And I spoke about it, I built Rap City. So it's like, look at me, I got fly cars, I rap them, and now I've got a business. It wasn't really about serving or doing the best raps or doing the best quality or changing this industry. It was like, look at me, I've got a sick rapping company. I feel like if anyone's gone through the bounce back, they've removed their ego. What was that like with you? Because we spoke about ego before we started on camera.
Yeah.
And you said like, it fucks up a lot of things.
Massively. Well, I think that it goes back to what I'm saying. External energy cannot really be controlled. It can't. Again, weasel word, but do you know what I mean? Like, I am unable to control what Tristan does. I may be able to influence it, yes, but I'm not able to control it. The only thing is what I do. So better I fuck with the internal energy, get that to a level, get those vibrations high enough whereby I feel like I can radiate and go and do what the fuck I want to do. That's the main thing that I believe in. Yeah. And I feel like it becomes a big challenge when everything that you do is for external validity. Don't get me wrong, it actually works for a certain period of time. Yeah. But because the external is always changing, it's always in motion, what ends up happening is you end up having to be a different person to meet the crowd's expectations. Because it's changing. It's kind of like we grew up, well, I'm older than you, but I grew up, it was drum and bass, dubstep, grime. Now it's trap. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's always changing. Now imagine if you're an artist just changing with the times. Yeah. Some people may be able to do that and stay relevant. Most people aren't. Yeah. And one thing that you'll unanimously agree with is while you're doing that, you're losing yourself. Yeah. What made you happy?
Yes.
What made you feel good, delightful, joyful?
Do you think the industry we came up in played a big part in the creation of our ego?
Of course. And don't get me wrong, I think it really does, to a certain degree,
It was a good
work.
part. Because
Yeah.
I heard this phrase, and I think you'll like this. Ego is not the enemy. An unhealthy and unmanaged ego is the enemy.
Correct. And also not, I think it's not just, so this will play a part into what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I think it's when you're unable to detach from, that's your ego. Because we were talking earlier on, you was like, I knew my ego. So you've already, it's almost like you've made a character of it.
Yeah.
I actually used to have an ego character called Icarius, and it was a gorilla.
Oh my days. Only you.
Icarius, because it was saying I care. Anyway, I used to have this, but it's when you're able to identify it, you could, but that's the thing I love about this, and time to yourself, and this is what being a lone wolf does for you, You can step back and you can go, that's what the ego's doing. What does the ego need to, what does it want? Does it really want validation, acceptance? What does it want? Yeah. Are you prepared to give it what it wants? Is it healthy to give it what it wants? Or is it more healthy to actually just observe it? And like with anything, energy, emotion, they are waves. They pass anyway. Yeah. So just by observing, being the quantum observer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Furthermore, are you even subscribed to my channel? You're sitting here about to watch this episode full of gems and about to learn everything you need to learn to level up and build a brand for yourself. But are you subscribed to this channel? If not, click the subscribe button, click the bell notification, and you will never miss another episode of this again. When you was coming up in the sales industry, because I felt like a lot of this stuff now, you go into the glamping and taking time out, I felt like that was frowned upon.
I always did it though.
Did you?
I always done it.
Really?
I've always done it. I've always been lone wolf.
No, not so much the lone wolf in the sense of everything was do, attack. Whereas now, and I see it in you, and to be fair, I think you have, or as long as I've known you've been like this, I had to undo a lot to get like this, where having a day off used to be scary for me. Day off, what's that? You're weak. Lunch for wimps. This kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Lunch is for wimps.
Yeah, I think that's, there's a don't want to confuse it, but there's a thin line because there's a certain amount of stoicism to what you're saying, and I agree with, right? Yeah. But I was always like that. I was always 100 miles an hour and then proper break. Even at the height of my career in sales, I went on holiday 26 times in a year. How do you do that without understanding there's time for yourself? Yeah. Do you understand? Yeah. So I've always been that person, like, whilst I'm in it, I'm in it. It's kind of like going to a training session. It's kind of like, you could take 2 hours and just go around leisurely, or you can blast it out in 45 minutes.
Has that extremely ever been negative for you?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, because certain things which we'll touch on, it's meant that I've not been the greatest of fathers. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because like, we talked about balance before. I don't believe balance actually exists. Yeah. Because I think you make your decisions by the actions you're taking. Yeah. So if you're 100% in with building a business, that is you're there. Do you know what I mean? So so you come back home and do what? 10% with your, I don't think it exists.
This is me, but then I know someone like my mum would watch this and be like, no, you've got to have time off. You've got to have time off.
I don't think it's balance. I don't think it's balance.
What do you think it is?
I think that's just having time off. I don't think it's balance. Are you going to tell me, okay, let's call it this. You're going to tell me 50% of the time you're working and 50% of the time you're having time off?
Oh, okay, it's not an equal balance.
It's not an equal balance. Yeah. And that's what I think, and it's good that you use that. Vernacular is very important. Yeah. So I think that when you are, when you're saying balance, a lot of people think that you are going to have this plane that, you know, like it's there. Yeah.
I think that's what we got to emphasize.
Yeah, the semantics of it. Yes, 100%. Do I believe that having time off is healthy? Yes, 100%. I really do.
But it won't necessarily be as much as you work.
100%.
I agree, 100%. So touching on the being a father, like I'll be honest, bro. Like you did a video for me during lockdown, and your sons was in it, and it stayed with me forever. Yeah, like forever. You did because it was lockdown. All of my friends and family did basically a happy birthday video, and you got your eldest son to Phoenix, to do a video, and it just I don't know, it just stayed with me forever. It for me, even just us as a friendship we have. It is a step further. It's like, you know, when you're young and you chill at the park, but then you take your friend home and it's like, now you're really my friend. You know the ones? It's like, now you're really my friend, that's my mum. And then it's like, that's my nan. It's like, now you're really my friend. And opening that up, because I know you're a very private person, Even seeing you even open them up to the internet was a surprise for me. 'Cause I know you're a very private person. You have your friends have been your friends for how long? Yeah, they've known you for how long? So that was touching. And then as time went on, like I think your Phoenix followed me, and then like I started to get to know your family more. Yeah, and I started to get to know how important they were to you. And then I started to see you talk about it. And that for me was like, yes, go on, Alf. Like, because obviously I'm not a father, so I loved it for other people, yeah? In the sense of, there's so many, and I know that if I didn't hear things like what you said, I could have potentially have made a mistake being a father earlier on and done the same thing you done, bro.
100%.
Like, that's a big reason why I haven't had kids yet, because we are in the chase. We were in the chase. We were in the pursuit. It is 24/7. We got shit to do. We're the breadwinners. And how you balance that with being a father, I even look at Gary Vee and I think, big man, where's your kids? Don't get me wrong. I study him enough to know that he has he's similar battles and he has done very well as a father. But I don't think there's one rule that fits all. And I think you're showing that. And I think you've been very vulnerable about the lack and the good. You've been very vulnerable about what you've done, good and bad. You've been very vulnerable about battles that you go through. And big up to Flomsy because he has as well. And I love this. I love the fact that I love it, bro. Like, I've got like young black guys around me that we're talking about being fathers, bro.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us didn't
I didn't have it.
with that.
I didn't, and
You know
I
what
didn't have it, and I
It
just
even makes you emotional,
Yeah.
bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because this is even deeper. I already just deep to now. Like Floms talks about it, like young successful guys, yeah, and I still see you as young, yeah, young successful guys who are talking about the battles of being a father. So I want to touch on that. Like, you spoke about the Rolex thing. I want to start with that because I made these mistakes. Not being a father, being a brother, being a son. I thought me and my mum had issues. So you know what? Here's all this. Here's this. Here's a Rolex. Here's goods. Here's everything paid for. Sister, Rolex. Got all of this done. And I realized, bro, that's not it. Like, that's fuck all. That means nothing. That's not what they want from you. I said it a lot on my trip back to UK. I went back home. I realized they didn't care. Bro, my family didn't care if I'm rich or poor. Harsh reality.
I think they probably do care.
I don't think they do,
maybe not that,
bro.
maybe,
I think they just care if I'm happy, bro.
Yes, agreed.
Which, don't get me wrong, can be linked to rich or poor. But I don't think, my mum doesn't sit and think, how much you make this year, son?
Oh, no, not that. Not that, but baseline. Okay, so we have to have it right. That baseline being able to have a happy life comes with a price tag.
Agreed.
Fact.
Let's not be one of them. Just chase happiness and 100%.
And that's all down to you. Like my kids, school they go to, the type of holidays, things that it comes with a price.
Yeah.
Above and beyond that, down to the individual, right? But it does come with a price. And I think that with me, because I had made so many incorrect decisions, it haunts me. And I also know that there's a lot of people out there that have made or making similar decisions based upon what they know. But I said something a little while ago, which was you give a fool a gun and you don't get a sniper, you get a massacre. It's the same thing with money. You give money to people and they haven't been taught. They're just going to waste it. So it's kind of like, for me, there's multiple lessons you've got to teach as a father. Money, kindness, how to communicate, loads. And I missed all of that just by providing the dough. So now I take it upon myself massively to go back and write those.
And what's that process been like for you? Where did you get to that point? Like, I kind of want someone who's watching this to really sit and think, bro, that's me. Do you know what I mean? Because I think not even just being a father, like I said, son, friend, whatever, brother, sister, like, we think money can, like, bro, I tell you this, yeah. I just went back to UK and I saw my little brothers. I've got a lot of, my dad's Jamaican, so I've got a lot of siblings.
Seed.
Yeah. And I went to my little brother's birthday. I haven't seen him in 4 years. But worse than that, because I was going through, I also wasn't communicating with them. Like, because you know how it is, you can't pour from an empty glass. So, and unfortunately this is my own thing, I don't know about you, but when I'm going through shit, I need silence. I can't talk to nobody. I just need to work this out. I went back, bro, it was his birthday, and as I was leaving, he said to me, why'd you keep disappearing? Now me, anyone who knows me, I'm an emotional motherfucker. Yeah, the internet won't know this, but I'm a very sensitive soul. Like, I'm a very my family, bro, it just, boom, off. I was in tears, bro, whole way back. Jumped in the car, whole way back, tears. And the reason why is because, multiple reasons. I've got a lot of step and half siblings, but I treat them all the same. They're all my fault. And I saw my brother's disabled, yeah? And I saw his siblings not be there for him, and I saw the impact. He's older than me. So I said to myself, all my younger siblings, I'm never gonna be that waste man brother, ever. So having my brother at 12 turn around and say, why'd you keep disappearing? Fucked me, yeah?
Imagine, man.
And then my instant reaction is, not now, but it was, okay, what can I do for them? They don't want that. It's not what, again, I want you to tell me your opinion because you may not agree, but it's the time. I extended my trip. I went to his basketball match next week. One of the best moments ever. He saw me walk in. He was like, his eyes lit up. It was like, you came. I was early. You came. That's my big brother. Do you know what I mean, bro?
Amen.
It was like, and I learned from that trip, and this has only just come. So at 31, anyone who's beating themselves up, I've only just got this and grasped this, is that I'm realizing like, bro, it's the time. Another thing I realized is put the fucking phone down and look at them, bro. Like, I got pulled up on this trip as well about how much I'm working while I'm with them. That's not the time.
100%.
That's not time.
100%. What is the most expensive commodity?
Time.
So as soon as you spend that on somebody, with somebody, they feel valued.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it could be doing anything. Better getting on their level and doing things that they enjoy, which for me, I found challenging because it was my way or that is it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't doing something that I
Didn't know how
enjoyed,
to adjust.
I didn't know how to enjoy
Same.
it. No, that's a lie. I'm not
did.
going to lie. I didn't want to adjust.
Agreed.
Of course I knew how
Agreed.
to.
Agreed.
Comprehension was easy.
Weasel statement.
Yeah,
Agreed.
100%.
Agreed.
I just didn't want to. And now, just watching them and just being around them and then adjusting to what they believe they would like to see of a dad. And the challenge is, I go back to when I was a childhood and I was denied that right by my own father. And I'm going, as the 8-year-old Alf, seeing what you were seeing, what would you have liked your dad to have done? And I just do that shit. Do you understand? So I've become much better at it and with them.
Yeah. Nah, I love it, bro. And what you're doing with your kids, like, you have inspired so many others, even in my in-house community. They always refer to what you do with your kids in regards to how, because you're a teacher naturally, but you've now merged that with being a father. So now you're the cool father, I'm assuming, because you're teaching in a way that they can digest. What's been the most impactful moment since you've, let's say, fixed up in regards to that? What's been the most impactful?
I'll tell you
moment?
what is actually pretty sick. That's a great question, by the way, Trist. A great question.
Thank you, bro.
My older boy, Phoenix, showed me a text between him and one of his pals, another cool guy, and he went, "Is this your dad?" And he went, "Yeah." And he went, "Hard." There's a video that I've done talking about inflation, right? Inflation that had over 700,000 views or something crazy like that, yeah? And I taught him it about 3 or 4 years ago. So he already knew it, but he didn't understand the impact of it.
Yeah.
But him having friends, obviously, now talking about it and saying that is hard, it was everything for me. Because now what it is like is, off his own back, he went and started looking at funds. Wants to hit me up with a couple of funds.
Sick.
He's got a dummy account with eToro.
Sick.
Already invested every single penny already. He's a G. He's a proper G. He's a proper G. Even Zeppelin as well.
Yeah.
We'll learn certain investment terms, because that's what we do, investment club. We'll learn certain terms. Hit me up 2 weeks later, tell me the terms, because now they attach the coolness to it.
Yes.
And I think if there's one mission that I want to do, you make it cool through how we are as people, how we present and drop. They actually take the lesson.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And now
language.
they can imply it.
Yeah.
My kids now, genuinely, and I'm so blessed for this, right? You couldn't give them dough without them having to, in their heart, know, because it's almost like dad's there. We have to invest something. Some way, shape or form.
That's it, bro.
Do you know what I mean? Some way, shape or form. A 4-year-old, Hiroshi's too young for it. I'm still there with him.
Yeah.
But Zeppelin and Phoenix, you can't give them a score and they think they're going to waste us. Are you mad? No way.
That's just them off their own back now.
Off their own back. And now they say it to other people. Next level.
Bro. I know there's been a football influence as well. Like, in regards to, what would you say, like, mindset-wise that you've got that you can see spilt down the side of the investment? Is there anything else you see?
Yeah, with my son with his football. Just he's like, he has no time for friends or any of that, because, and it's not that he's not a friendly person. You've met my son. He's one of the most humble, respectful
100%.
people, right?
Very.
But what it is he understands the sacrifice, which I think a lot of people don't correlate. The sacrifice to get the things they want out of life that they say. Very easy to say you want to be a footballer. You look at the statistics, I think it's 0.187% of people actually make it onto the Premiership. So he understands these things intrinsically. Shit. And it's like, I'm going to give myself the best opportunity. And because we are in a fortunate position, it means that, okay, if you say that to your dad, I'm going to put everything your way.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Some people say that's privilege. It is privilege to a point, but it's also it's the death. Because guess what? His coaches, I'm regularly speaking to his coaches, find out what he's done, putting the extra pressure. It's actually more pressure. Because I'm like, I am providing this.
Yeah, there's no excuses.
And because I know about ROI, return on investment, I want an ROI. And it might not be that he makes it into the Premiership, even though I believe he will, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact that I want to see that he's giving out as much as I'm putting. It's not just wasted on him because the money's there.
Yeah, 100%. No, I love that, bro. Love that, bro. All right, so we wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about what you've got coming. The big video. You've got it on you. You've got it. Let's get it out, man. Let's get it out. Yeah, let's have a little toast to this, bro. And do you know what? The reason why I want to have a toast to this is because, and I know you are this person anyway, but you said something and you done it. Yeah, and again, that's normal for you. That's your normal language. But you've said this for a long time before. I remember you speaking about a book before the system. Yeah, that's what I remember. And there's probably people that will remember before even that. That's just for me. Yeah. So firstly, cheers to you, my bro. Yeah, congratulations on this. Man. Who Stole Your Mind? I want to leave it. Where should we position it so that we can I want to leave it here for the rest of this episode. Is that all right where it is? Move it closer. Like, this way? Yeah? All right, cool. I know a lot of people are going to even see me with this and probably want to rob me for this. Yeah? Because one of the questions I got asked from my in-houses is, when is he dropping the book? But before we get to that, bro, firstly, hats off to you. Like, I haven't even taken a look into it properly, but you've told me that you've incorporated brands, you've made it fun, it's cool, it's wavy, there's illustrations on every other page, if not like a lot of the pages. Talk us through this, man. Like, this is huge. And I'll tell you one thing before you even start. Like, one of my biggest things from the tour that I put together was don't dim your light. Yeah, my thing is, bro, we're creating our own hype. No one ain't gonna come along and say, I'm signing you to a label. We're not rappers, yeah? But we're gonna move like we want to move. Like, do you know what I mean? No one's gonna control that narrative. So for me, this is you dropping the album. This is the album, bro. Yeah.
Pretty much is.
This is the album. So talk us through how did you make this album? How did you make this album? What went into this album, bro? Talk to us, man.
Oh man, that was a sick intro, by the way. It's hard.
And you know what? Actually, before you answer that, you always refer to music, just like I do. Yeah. Well, that's our thing. Yours is often the UK side. Sometimes actually American, but very often grime UK. Why is that? What do you get from that?
My brother, he just brought me in. He showed me such a lifestyle. I mean, he's a pioneer of a whole scene, right? So I got to experience life through his eyes without the pressure, which is an amazing position to be in. Yeah. Being backstage, being at all the tours, being there when they're creating absolute bangers, but not having to be the input. Just being able to observe, right? Same. So a lot of my influences are musical. Right? A lot of the way I speak and references is musical.
Even the way we do our content, it's always that. I saw your Dizzy one. I saw that. Stop that.
Get it out.
Bro, I hope people really grasp what you're doing there, bro. I know it did. But cool, this is the album. Yeah, this is the album. Who Stole Your Mind? An original version. This was Weasel Words.
Bad Boy.
And you remixed it. Went back.
So what happened is I put out the system and everyone loved it. The visuals were great. Yeah. But when I was asking for feedback, nobody had done fuck all. Literally nobody had done fuck all with it. And it hurt me because of how much energy and time I put into it. Then I took a bit of offense. Then I actually dialed back and I do what I'm always good at. I really went in. Why? Why didn't anybody? And I realized the whole concept and how structured it is was just too much for most people. As soon as most people see it, it'll make sense Physically, it'll make sense. Theoretically, it'll make sense. However, they'll look at it and go, I can't do that. That'll just be another thing for me to try.
Is that the vocabulary?
The vocabulary is going on in here. The vocabulary is going on in here. Whereas whenever I do something, not all the time, but 90% of the time, 95% of the time, there's a lot of, it's almost cocky.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. You're going to meet this person.
Yeah.
They're going to do this. They're going to love you.
Yeah.
I have a lot that supports me. My self-talk supports me. Whereas a lot of them, they don't even recognize it's there. It's so insidious and fast.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You'll never do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'll try. You'll fail. Do you know what I mean? Loads of these fucking little voices in their mind. I thought, that's what I want to do. And one of the first books I read was a book on self-talk. And I thought, I need to make something that's much more relatable for our people, for a younger generation.
I don't even know this, so this is new to me.
Yeah,
Sick, bro.
So I said, I need to make something that talks about the self-talk, but how can I make it relatable? I'm going to put 25 of the most baitist, negative weasel words, comments, or sayings or phrases. Things that people say, money can't buy happiness. Life's unfair. Loads of things that people say when people say, how you doing? Not bad. People don't understand the effects that has when you repeat it over time. You just say, I'm not bad once, it doesn't matter. But if you were to listen to a bullshit song for 10 years straight, it's going to have an effect.
100%.
So if you're listening to the bullshit words in your mind for 5 or 10 years straight, it's going to have an effect. And what happens as well with this, I don't believe in microwave generation, everything happens fast. But when you become aware of it, you stop yourself very quickly. How many times have I said, can't, still, and that's a weasel word, stop myself. Do you know what I mean?
Even if you notice, you also condition
Correct.
people around you.
Correct.
So for example, when I'm saying to you, bro, I'm running a bit late, no excuses. Someone else, I may say, bro, it's because I just know you've put a standard on you that's made me meet that standard when I come into, and I want people to really grasp that. When you put a standard on you, people meet that if you've made it clear that's your standard.
100%. 100%. You couldn't said it any better. So then I first wrote this book and it was weasel words, but I was immature. I wrote it and it was just about jokes. Yeah. I wrote it and it was about jokes and it was very brief and I thought I'm just going to put out a book here, make it fun, a lot of my humour, but no real substance. Then my mum passed. And I was like, okay, as you can see, the first page of this is dedicated to my mum, right? So I then thought, this has to be about substance because everyone is going to see that.
Picture, man.
Hard, isn't it?
Yeah, picture.
Proper,
amazing, man.
proper stuff. And I thought, I now need to go back and do the most challenging thing once you've already gone through it. And the first writing took me about a year. It was in the lockdown. I'm going to have to peel back the layers and with everything, think, how can I deliver value in it? With everything. So it went from a book that was like 40 pages to 136 pages. I then booked Art Jazz, who is a very, very popular graffiti illustrator.
Which is connection for you as well.
For me, Rewind magazine. I was in the Rewind magazine from the MC Alpha days, Alpha days. Do you know what I mean? So I got him to illustrate it, and we just worked on concepts. I couldn't even tell you how many hours. How many hours just working on concepts? Okay, that picture, how would they feel as they see in that picture? That story, how would they feel? But also, then as soon as I'd done that, I dialed it back. What brands do I really fuck with? Trapstar, Cortez, Hoodrich, all these UK brands. Let me put them into the book as well. So as you're reading it, no matter who you are, you'll be able to, I know that Trapstar, I know this brand, I know that brand. And the message will be seeping into your subconscious, which is that, but you'll be enjoying it as well. Yeah. You won't see it as personal development. You won't see it as awareness or self-talk.
I just saw the word edutainment.
Edutainment.
Hard.
Edutainment.
Hard, I just saw that. Hard,
So that's what I wanted to do. And then, I took 3.5 years. It was painful. It was painful. Took 3.5 years. It was painful because I finish it and I think it's done. And then you read it again and I'm like, it's not enough. And it's not enough because it's dedicated to my mum. Yeah. So I keep revisiting that. And then me and the editor hired this editor. I thought the book was done. And I gave it to my pal Chris. Big up Chris G. He was like, have you had this book edited? I was like, yeah, I found someone on Fiverr. He was like, what? It was like, genuinely, that's just going to be like a factory. They're just churning. You need to go and find an editor. I found this editor, Alicia Wild, New York, right? Editor. Sick. And I spent time and dough. We were in tears going through it. When we talk, there's certain parts in there that are very personal, We were in tears going through the book, bro. She was so questioning this. Did you actually mean that? Mate, that alone took another 4, maybe 5 months just going back and forward with this woman, questioning your work. Now, I can take criticism, no problem with it. But when it's 3.5 years and they're talking about your experiences, it's a bit of a challenge to detach yourself from it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And actually look at it
In
objectively.
what sense, like when they're criticizing things like what? How you've worded it or
Everything.
what it was?
How you've worded it and what you actually meant. Because in your head you think, yeah, that's obviously everyone's on my level. They can understand it. She was like, no, for majority of people, they're going to see it as this. There is one which is quite dark, whereby she believed it was referencing a sexual nature that I wouldn't want. And she was just like, I see it as this. And I'm like, but I don't see it as this. And she was like, okay, fine, you can leave it in here, but people are going to see it as this because I saw it as this. And we're going back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, until the point we agree on something. Then, do you know what I mean? And it's just that process. And we're doing this. She's in New York. So I'm doing it whereby it's 11 o'clock at my time. Yeah. She's at 6:00 at her time. We're doing these things. We're having Zooms. And just that process was mad. Yeah. And then you finally get it right and finished and done. Then just to get, okay, I want it to be a hardback. I want it to stand out. There's certain things I want on there. The 18 badge I want on there. Certain things I want on there. I want it to be yellow because you don't get self-development books in yellow. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Certain things I did on it. The paper quality for the version I want, right? Not like normal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, then there's...
look, I just randomly opened to that page.
Chucky, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, there's loads of people in it. There's Chucky in it, AJ's in it. There's
Mikey, look, Mikey randomly getting these pages, look.
Yeah, there's loads.
Big shout out to Mikey. Nah, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said it to you the other day when we done dinner in London, like, we need to all get behind this. I know I'm going to. And what I'm looking forward to is actually taking this in, not even as your brethren, just taking it in. Do you get what I mean? And yeah, like taking it in as any book I would read. But when this drops, can we say when it'll drop, or have you got an idea?
I haven't got a full idea. I'm working on it. It'll be this year for sure. But I haven't got a full idea.
All done now though?
Book's done.
Done.
Book's done. Book is absolutely done. Yeah. But it's because of how I want to present it to the world, and the marketing ideas that me and Ali have got are outrageous.
Big shout out to Ali as well.
Big shout. Big shout. We're not doing it like we're releasing it like it's an album.
Have to. Like, you know me, bro. Like I ain't even letting you go out like that. Like I'll be honest, like, and I'm gonna release it like I'm on that album. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, no, this is huge for so many reasons. Like number one, and I don't want to highlight it was huge, bro. I'm big on the flowers. Number one, it's huge from a personal aspect that you've done this. Secondly, when we zoom out, as much as you don't necessarily see yourself in this space, and I get why you say this is going to kind of be the door opener, because now you are an author.
Correct.
Complete. You're an author. Correct. And you're an author from an environment that a lot of us relate to. Me more, 100%. You've come through journeys that a lot of us relate to, and you've actually put that into a book and you know what I love about books? It's here forever.
100%.
Forever. Like, 100%. Do you know what I mean? That's here forever. And you've gone...
Well, listen to this. Think about the deeper connection. Sorry to jump in.
Cut you of course.
It's forever. My mum got robbed for me at 61. The book's for her. Dedicated to her. Yeah. It's my version of her living forever.
Sick.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Sick, bro. Forever. And I love the fact you've gone tangible rather than PDF and like real book, which is what we come up in. Hopefully people get their highlighters out and work things out from it. But on top of that, it's like, bro, I'm not always the biggest, I am in my mind, but I don't do it a lot online, but I'm going to do it now. For a black man, a black self-made man from East London, the inner city of East London, to create a book like this, that is going to have generational impact. We know this, fact, it's going to have that. It's huge, bro.
Thank you so
much. Because remember when we started reading books, they weren't relatable. They weren't connecting like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny you say that. The interesting stat is most of any style of self-development is done by either white men, but more importantly, middle-aged white women.
100%.
That haven't gone through our struggles.
100%.
They've never been bankrupt.
Yeah.
They've never had to have electric key in the yard. Never had to boil a bucket to have a bath. They've never had any of this.
Unless it's rappers and sports players.
Correct.
No, not taking nothing from them.
No, they smashed it in their own right.
But we now need to open up the gates on other things for the next generation. So, bro, another cheers for that.
Thank you so
Cheers
much.
to that, bro.
Thank you so much.
All right, cool. I wanna wrap up with a few questions that I got from my in-houses.
Yeah.
Just because I promised them, look, I'm gonna ask them these questions.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and obviously your time is valuable, and they may not always get that time. One of the things that came was, and this one's a little bit off topic, I'd say, kind of. Who would you say is the top 3 closers, and what makes them better? Which I think is a mad. I was really intrigued by that question, to be honest with you. I was intrigued by why they asked that, but the person who asked that is in wealth management, by the way.
Okay, cool. Top 3 closers. I don't think I would name anybody
Public,
specifically.
right?
Public,
Yeah,
because
it would be people we know.
industry specific. Do you know
That's
what
what
I
I
mean?
would've thought.
So I think that's a bit of a challenge to answer, but I can definitely tell you the characteristics.
Okay, perfect. He did that. Yeah, he asked that. Yeah.
So the characteristics are money hungry or success hungry. Like, and I'm talking about, this almost sounds cliche, but I'm talking about to an insatiable level.
Yeah.
Like whereby you go to sleep thinking about it.
Yeah.
So there's no real turn off.
Yeah.
Second thing is incredible discipline. And incredible discipline means that other things have to suffer.
Yeah.
Because you say you're going to do this and you do it.
Yeah.
At this time.
Who is it that says the definition is to cut off? You're originator of this. Is it sacrifice? The definition is to cut off? Or commitment is the definition to cut off?
Wait 1 second.
It's something
it's me.
from you
yeah,
somewhere.
I have said something
It's
to do with
probably passed on to me
sacrifice.
through other people, but it come from you somewhere. I think like the Latin or the root word.
Yeah,
or
the
something
root word
is
of
to
the
cut
etymology.
off.
The etymology
Etymological.
of
Yeah.
sacrifice. It's gone out of my mind. It will come back to me
Alright,
because I
cool.
have said it. I have said it
Cool.
before.
Okay, cool. So you say those 3 traits. Cool. Something else. And I wanted to ask you this as well, and they asked it, is words. You're a wordsmith. You just wrote a book. And you said something off camera about the dumbing down of words. And do you know what? I want to talk about that because I think I disagree with you a bit, Alf, personally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, in the sense of, I have a belief that there's an audience for everyone. But I agree with you in the sense of if your purpose is to educate those that don't get it, then you have to dumb it down. But I also think sometimes people got to rise up to you. So I want you to elaborate on that. For you, you've dropped so many words in this conversation alone that man are probably like, yeah, so why are words so important to you? What is that for you? Why is it so important to you?
Well, think about it. A thought is a word.
Mm.
Do you understand? So it is so important because ultimately that's what you're having 70,000 of a day, there or thereabouts. So if your vocabulary is restricted, you're not going to see much. Facts. There's so many ways of explaining this. This more metaphysical, right? But very, very basic understanding is if you've got a large vocabulary and you understand it, you can see more. Because somebody can say something to you and you will understand it. Whereas if it's limited, you see a reduction, less. So you can only grow to a certain level. You can only output to a certain level. So that's why I find words so important.
I've always had a soft spot for man from the hood or from the ends that I know what you want to say, bro. I know what you want to say. This is what you want to say. Like people always say to me, you know that, which is why I'm into branding and marketing, that you say it in and I realize that that's such a blessing what we have. We can say things. Someone will be thinking 100 things and don't know how to word it, especially when they're hood and less well-read and less educated. Yeah, and it's not disrespect because this is people I love. I actually, like I said, I have a soft spot because it's like, I know you want to say all of this, but you don't know how to.
And the challenge with that is when they're in that position, it massively affects their confidence. Because let's face it,
and that's the soft spot for me, bro.
And same.
That's the soft
and
spot
that's why
for
I
me,
make
bro.
sure in a lot of my content, like I throw in a lot. Maybe not overdo it. Like if I'm having a conversation with Russell Brand, it would be interesting. We'd go bar for bar, and it would sound mad. It would sound crazy because he is. He's one of my big.
But do you think when you? Sorry to cut you. Do you think when you're saying that? Do you think someone hood watching it? So is your aim so they go and learn that word?
And that's what happened. Like literally, I've got a guy, big up Leonard, right? He is a guy that every single episode gets the word, finds out the definition, and then uses it.
Sick.
He said he has a car rental business that's growing. He's doing okay and it's growing, right? And he said to me, he got into a dispute. He just littered it with words. The woman or the person who was disputed didn't want it. They just capitulated. Done. They're finished.
That's another benefit of the words as well, especially if we're talking about sales or communication. It can start you off at advantage straight away and let someone know without letting them know I'm educated. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Or more than that, not even necessarily educated, because I think some people can go and do it to sound cool. I think it's more, I'm prepared to put in the work. Yeah. Because how would you don't just stumble on the floor and pick up this word like you'd find a fiver in the street.
It's a testament to your journey.
Testament to the fact that you've actually gone and discovered.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. Someone said, I love this one. And I kind of, to be honest, I want to end on this one. I'll leave that one till last. Why is he such a big advocate for investing and how it builds in generational wealth?
Because whoever asked that question is a brilliant one, because that's what I'm massively about. Because my mum passed away with not much more than the joy in her heart and 4 amazing boys. I'll give her that. completely. 4 amazing boys. And she could have had a lot more and done a lot more with simple, and this is it, it's not easy, simple principles. The principle is simple. Doing it is the challenge, but the principle is simple. And this goes back to exactly what I said. My mum wasn't really ever going to open a business. She's a fantastic cook, fantastic chef. But was she really going to go and open up a restaurant or write a book about it? That wasn't her, right? But imagine if from her first pound, she understood principles that could make sure that when she retired or wanted to retire, she wouldn't have to rely on anyone. Different type of confidence. And I believe everyone should be entitled to that level of confidence, that level of security for your future, especially if you can do it starting off with a very small amount. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So investing to me is kind of like, people won't teach you this. Right? And I'm not of the talking about mystics or occult, but if there's something that super wealthy people are teaching and know and understand, and I can learn that, test it out, because it's not just like it's theory. It's not like, oh, it'll be good. I've done well with these things, right? And then teach it to other people so they can get their foundation straight. What happens is in 10, 15, 20 years, which it's going to take, it's not a year, 10, 15, 20 years, these people are going to stand up with confidence, and they're going to be able to teach their kids with confidence, because they go, yeah, I started off, I did this, I threw this, did this, went through these challenges, and now look at this. This is what I have. This is going to see me, my partner, you through, even going to give you a bit of an inheritance. For me, that's like the minimum.
Can you give any, like, let's say 3 or 5 actionable steps? And before I leave that, one thing I learned about myself, and you might relate to this, I'm amazing at making money. I can make money easy. Like I am a money magnet. Money comes to me since a young age. I'm very good at making money. I wasn't that good at maintaining money, and I wasn't that good at growing the money, but I was great at making it. Now, in the last year, I've become much better, because you go through what I went through, it's like, bro, you're gonna have a choice. This time round, you better learn how to preserve it. And now I'm tapping into a lot of my OGs as well, and I'm like, bro, like literally, if the budget is 2K and that's 2.5, I'm like, what do you reckon? Like, should we? Whereas before, I'd be like,
just do it.
Yeah. So is there anything, like, even if it's just short and sweet, that you would say like is like actionable things, or like things to be aware of to maintain, not just make? Because that's what I think a lot of our culture goes wrong, you know?
100%.
We speak so much about making.
100%.
Even sometimes I do as well. Like how much I made. What did you keep, bro? What did you grow? Like,
Amen.
What did you invest? Like, what did you flip? What was the...
Amen.
Rather than... Because made is so easy, I've realized, but when you're looking at a ground level, made... And I don't mean this to disrespect any part of the demographic, but made looks like, oh my God. Bro, we know people who have made unlimited amounts of money. It's boring now.
I've done it and
yeah,
it crashed.
exactly. So what would you say is like key in that aspect?
I'll tell you what's actually good. That's a great question, Trist. I get hit up by a lot of influential people, a lot of blue tickers. And the thing that they hit me up and want to discuss, or I discuss with them, is exactly that. Because it's kind of like, I've made it now. And and to everybody, it seems like I'm in a great position. But if you're earning 10 bags and spending 10 bags, you're the same as somebody who's earning a bag and spending a bag.
Big fact.
No different.
Big fact.
No different.
100%.
So what I show them to do is something that's actionable and easy to make sure that out of that 10, you start off and you invest 1. 9, you can still live a great life. I'm not asking you to do anything massive, but then what ends up happening is you get to a position whereby you no longer need to spend 9, and now you're investing 9 and spending 1.
But what would you say that 1 is? And sorry, because we're gonna go, this is a good thing here, yeah? Do you qualify investing in self as one of them? Because you know that's always a cop-out, isn't it?
I mean, of course you should invest in yourself. 100% sharpen the saw. Come on, 7 principles, right? This is common sense stuff. However, for me, I'm talking about making your money work.
For you, yeah.
Richest man in Babylon, number 1 shit, right?
Yeah,
number 1 shit. Richest man in
Great
Babylon. Go and find out how to make your money a slave. Not you become a slave to it.
100%.
And yeah, so basics, the absolute basics that I believe everyone should do. Set up an ISA. Set up an ISA very, very quickly, because you can invest 20,000 a year tax-free. And that's a decent amount of money in the UK. Or equivalent. Get an account that has tax benefits. If you don't have it, I don't know geographically how it works everywhere. But get an account where you can invest a certain amount of money and get tax benefits. If it's not tax benefits, just a certain amount of money every single month. In the UK, it's 20,000 you can do, which is £1,666. That over a 10-year period, if you can hit that over a 10-year period, which not everyone can, and I understand that, in a simple fund like the S&P 500, which it tracks America's markets, biggest economy, that over a 10, 15 year period is significant amount of money.
That was 20K a year, you said, yeah?
20K a year. Okay. Which, from our area, people who've made it, they piss that money.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
100%, yeah.
As soon as you've done that, do it for your kids. Do it for your partner. Get everybody a good foundation. And as soon as you've done that, it's such a joyful feeling after 6 months, just seeing that and just watching it grow. And then when you understand it's going to go up, down, there's going to be recessions, and you just almost come to laugh at these things. Oh, it's part of the cycle. But I'm still building over time. It's mad you say
investing and not saving. Because years ago, I would have saw that as saving. But I know what, like, because you always said to me, like, and I learned this off of you, is that it's not about saving, it's about investing more than the saving, whereas I think that's where a lot of people go wrong.
I feel that saving is a scared man's mentality. Yeah. I feel like, how many people have rainy days? How much do you actually really need to be well saved for the future? 3 to 6 months. Because let's face it, typically, if you can't fix a challenge in 3 to 6 months of having that challenge to work on, you're fucked, right? So 3 to 6 months is pretty much what I believe, and I have liquid, right? Liquid, easily gettable. Everything else has to work for you. Because if it's not working for you, guess what? It's working against you because you've got inflation eating away at it. Inflation, very simple. The clothes that you're wearing and bad boy Chanel trainers now may cost what? 700-800 today. Within 5 years, just by Chanel bags, they will cost fucking £1,500. If your money hasn't made that difference up for you, you are broke. You're losing.
Would you say save the security blanket first and then start investing?
So what I'd say is
3 to 6 months first.
I like this is a great question. I'd always say clear down any debt first, because the debt will grow quicker. Typically the APR is much higher than you grow your money. So pay off any debt first. Make a plan to do that. Then save 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months, because you walk differently in the world when you know no one can fuck with you for 6 months. Trust me, I'm the guy. So then do that, and then as soon as that's done, or if you can, but simultaneously, then make sure, even if it's a small amount, even if you can pay down the majority of your debt and put £100 into an investment a month, because what it starts to do is flex the muscle. You start to get comfortable with the fact that that money is no longer yours. My investment money is not mine. Guess whose it is?
Kids.
Alfred's.
Oh yes.
It's not mine. It's Alfred's, and then the kids. Do you understand what I mean? But that takes a bit of muscle, because if you don't have that muscle, what happens is as soon as you get into any type of challenge, and I've done this before, you sell them investments quickly, because you never got into the muscle of understanding that is no longer your money. It's like tax that goes to the government. Gone.
Detached from it.
Detached.
Anything else on that?
No, it's very simple. Get the ISAs, get a standard investment where you can get the muscle growing. Get that done ASAP.
Sick. Love that, bro. I'm actually really glad we touched on that as well. Cause I think, I want to see a lot more, like even for me, bro. Like I said, like I'm on my bounce back. I don't give a fuck to say that. Do you know what I mean? And I have to be more financial literal this time round. So every step has to make sense. All right, cool. I know we've gone over a little bit than we usually do, but I knew it was gonna be that with you, bro. All right. So another question that we've had. I think we've actually got the final one. To be fair, I was saving one till last. I think is an amazing one. Yeah, I'm going to save this one till last. I'm going to use this one now. All right. If you was, the final question for you, bro. If you was to start again, what would your path be as an 18-year-old? And the person who asks that is a big fan, big follower. Let me not even say fan. A big follower of mine and yours. And he followed me since he was 15 years old, which is same with you. And he was... everything we've ever done together, it was like that, every webinar, everything. So, yeah, big shout out to him. But yeah, that was his question.
Just semantically, I've got to change something.
Go on.
Hate the word follower. Supporter.
Supporter.
Followers are like sheep.
Do you know what?
Don't do anything.
Do you know what?
They just wait for the imminent death.
I'm glad you've done that on camera, because I don't like I haven't worked out the best word, but who better to tell me the best word than the words? Yeah?
Supporter.
Yeah, supporter, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so I think... if I had to go back again, I would very quickly, there's 2 things that I would do that would be non-negotiables. One would be read and just study. Study success, the type of success I want, because that's a cheat code. People don't actually understand it. People relate it to, if you want to be a doctor, you go to and learn medicine for however many years. Study success, like make it a study.
Yes,
which I've learned from Jim Rohn.
That should be a degree, bro.
Should be a degree.
I swear to
should
you.
100%
a whole
be a
degree. The best degree there would be.
Should be a syllabus on it. 100%.
bro.
100%. So there'd be that. And the other thing that I would say, which I know you're going to agree with to a point, at least anyway, I'd get into sales very, very quickly.
Yeah, man.
Teaches you so much about yourself, rejection, communication, all these vital skills.
Even
I
if they
think
don't
are so
get into
important.
it, I think they should learn it. I think just learning sales, even if you don't, like some of the people in my boot camp, what I love about them, they're not actually in sales. They're maybe building a business. Some of them even work for a business, but sales is communication. Let's just get real. Sales is a higher tier of communication on a daily basis. Allows you to understand people's psychology, what they're saying versus what they're not saying, how they think, how they make decisions. That, for me, I think I'll go out on a limb and say it, and we'll end on this. Allows us to be good for life. And I want to cheers to my brother.
I completely agree, man.
Alf, thank you so much for your time, my bro. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the bottle of wine. This man.
No.
Oh. Right,
That's the prototype copy.
I need.
Soon.
Soon.
Come on, brother.
My bro. Cheers, bro.
Thank you.
There you have it. Like, share, subscribe. My brother Alphie, if you don't follow him, make sure you do. Legend, absolute OG, gems for days. And comment below and let us know what your biggest takeaway was, man, especially in the financial part. People, peace.